I think people will look and say, but wait a minute, they're Americans who are unemployed. Why can't you just hire them?
They don't want to come out here and work in this extreme conditions, 100+ degree temperatures, dust, hard work.
What if you paid them more?
It doesn't matter, and they won't come out.
Trump kept saying during this campaign that the illegals were here stealing the blacks' jobs. He just kept harping on the black jobs, and everybody was like, what the hell is a black job? Well, this is just my perspective, or it's just my thought. I'm thinking that the Virginians and all the rest of the people who were depending on illegal immigrants for their labor, they kept hearing Trump saying that the black people jobs were being taken. I'm thinking in their minds, they were hearing Trump saying the black people are going to come back to those jobs. In my mind, I'm thinking they were hearing Trump says the black people are going to replace all those immigrants out in the fields and on the farms and all of that. I'm thinking that's what they were hearing. That's why they weren't messed up about voting to get rid of their illegal immigrants. They were thinking that the black people were going to step up and take those jobs back, because Trump kept saying these illegal immigrants are stealing the blacks' jobs. And therefore, in their mind, they heard we were getting our 1,800 slaves back. They had to have thought that their backup plan, Trump was going to miraculously, somehow, magically put all the black people back out in those fields, on those farms, and they were going to continue to get their work done. Now, that's just my thinking, because you cannot tell me that you as a business owner would get rid of your workforce and not have a backup plan. You are not going to knowingly and willingly walk into a bankruptcy, walk into losing your business, walk into losing your farms that have been in your family for 300 years unless you thought there was a backup plan. And the backup plan was supposed to be the blacks. That's why y'all ran out there and voted against your best interest, because when you heard Donald Trump said they were stealing the blacks' jobs, y'all in your twisted mind thought that the blacks were going to magically appear back in those positions. The blacks were just going to be coming from everywhere to take on those positions. You had to have thought that, because y'all not going to tell me that in your minds you were okay with.
This to me is like, you voted for him, and now you're seeing the true colors. Now you want people to feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for you.
I'm going to say the meanest thing I could possibly say to these Trump voters posting self-pity videos because they're suffering due to his policies. You don't get to complain. You definitely don't get to complain about the lack of leadership or ideas coming from Democrats, because we didn't do this to us. You did this to us.
What percentage of your workers are not U.S. born?
Probably half.
About half?
Yeah.
A new trade policy will also be great for the American farmer. I love the...
No, the hell he doesn't.
Caleb Ragland is the president of the American Soybean Association, and he just wrote an op-ed for a right-wing publication, and he said in there, quote, "Like many of my fellow farmers, I voted for President Donald Trump in the past 3 elections. The president won me over with his commitment to business-friendly tax cuts, as well as his track record of reducing regulation and cutting government spending. I am one of 500,000 soybean farmers in America who feels the pain. As a businessman, President Trump must know how urgent this is." Does he? Is he?
So I'm a black farmer, and a lot of people are wondering, why are black farmers not panicking like a lot of white farmers? Well, let me explain to you the reasons why. It's because white farmers have been handed everything to them. A lot of...
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel once again.
My name is Dash Lifestyle. Kindly for watching me for the first time. Remember to subscribe, like, share, and also comment. So guys, the white farmers, they are out here crying simply because the black people, they are not willing to work in their farm. And also the white farmers, the MAGA voters, they are regretting for voting for Donald Trump, because Donald Trump, he deported illegal immigrants, and these illegal immigrants are the ones who are working to these white farmers farm. But right now, the white farmers, they are crying because of Donald Trump deporting illegal immigrants, the illegal immigrants who are helping them in their farms. So they have come out here begging for black people to help them in their farms, but the black people, they are not willing to work or to assist them in their farms. So kindly guys, I want you to watch this video from the white farmers begging the black people to work in their farms, and we are going to see the reasons to why majority of the black people, they have refused to work in the white farmers. So kindly guys, watch this video till the end, then I'll be back with more comment.
Consequences of my actions chasing me right now. I don't want no consequence. I don't want no consequences chasing me right now.
Have y'all seen that lady from Nebraska? Don't worry, I'm going to put it down here. She was one of the ones who came out and said, we voted for this and we regret it. She's one of the ones that's actually remorseful, not one of the ones that's coming on here going, yes, I asked for this, but please don't tell me how it's my fault that my consequences are affecting me and not just the people I hate now. I don't want to hear it, okay? Now that we don't care about them. But this one, they're cattle farmers, and I guess Nebraska is on track to go bankrupt in like 2 quarters. Okay. And the most interesting part of the piece that she put up, and I'm not saying this to throw shade, I'm saying it to emphasize what's up. Okay. She says, we knew that they were going to be coming for the undocumented, and here almost everyone's a farmer of some kind, and 70% of our workforce is immigrant labor. And while we knew they were going to be coming for the undocumented, and we knew 70% of our workforce was going to fall into that category, we still supported this. And now thinking about it, I'm gonna say it one more time, and now thinking about it, they realize it didn't make sense to support something that went against their own interests and to put their support in something that is now feeding their own demise. And I appreciate her for coming on here and giving these updates and just saying, with each time, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Like, in retrospect, I can't believe I did that. In looking back, this made no sense. I did it anyway, knowing it didn't make sense. I appreciate her for that. Because we've got too many that are just incapable of doing that. Just incapable of saying, wow, yeah, I convinced myself to go against my own interests. Why did I do that? Like, that is work. That's self-work. Okay. And that's what we have room for. We have room for people that are like, wow, I now want to look into why I convinced myself to do something that was not going to help me. Why did I do that? We need more of that. And less people going, yeah, well, I'm just going to hold on to my hate and rage and anger, and I'm going to blame everyone else. And you know what? Yeah, I'm going to fight to keep my job. I'm getting a lawyer. Okay, I'm fighting this. I don't care if I asked for it. This isn't fair to me. It's not supposed to affect me. What about me and me and me? We don't care about them. Like I said, they can go fend for themselves. They can go fund themselves. But yeah, it's very interesting. So these states that are already on track to go bankrupt just with the policies themselves, okay? Because she's like, people aren't showing up to work. I mean, whole thing, okay? And then blue states, these cesspool states that are providing all the federal taxes, people who live in states like Oklahoma who can't afford a plane ticket out here for the weekend love to talk about how this place is a cesspool, but they need our money to survive and to support themselves. Yeah, I am all for all of these blue states holding on to their money. I'm not interested in paying this regime. I'm interested in California independence or joining Canada or almost any other country but this one. And I would love to see how states like Nebraska plan on funding themselves when we aren't the ones putting into the pot anymore. We're going to keep our dirty little blue cesspool dollars to ourselves. How about that? Like, Go ahead. Give it a watch. Give it a watch. I give her props. And keep it rolling, because that's an area, that's a state where the administration is trying to tell you that we're traveling out there to their town halls. Okay? She's in one of the states where they're trying to tell you that it's us that are upset at the town halls. We're traveling out to cow country.
Racism is expensive. And corporations and billionaires don't care about you. This is probably breaking news to many who support and applaud mass deportations. Well, the people in Nebraska, the state of Nebraska, is starting to find out how expensive both of those things are, how expensive racism is, and how much corporations and the billionaires don't care about the working class, minorities, poor people, black people, and other non-billionaires. Well, here we go. So I hear Nebraska is on the brink of bankruptcy, although it seems that they have found a little band-aid to put on their self-inflicted gashing wound by choosing and supporting mass deportations, which hurts their farms because it takes away the migrant workers who, instead of waiting for ICE agents to go and round them up and jam-pack them into some of those private prisons like Core Civic, and continue to enrich the billionaires while they lose while the farmers lose their workers. The migrants decided to self-deport to places where they can be and be okay, and not be in communities of people who applaud and support mass deportations. So I guess those migrants were taking people's jobs. Where are those people? Come and take the jobs. They're there. The jobs are available. Why are these states, why is Nebraska potentially going bankrupt? Why are so much of America's farming country going belly up? Yeah, racism is expensive. And like they say, F around, find out. But I hope this is a lesson to everybody that is in support of and applaud mass deportations and mass incarceration. People who, in a haste to get rid of the people they do not like, or to hurt people they don't like, end up hurting themselves. You know, with racism and xenophobia and all of these other things that were part of this past election. By the way, I'm not, although MAGA is super excited about these mass deportations, the corporate Democrats weren't too far away from them either. They were busy chasing MAGA to the right, especially on the issue of immigration. So I'm not gonna act like I didn't see it, or that it didn't happen, or that the Democratic Party wasn't campaigning on potentially doing harm to migrants and immigrants either. And at the end of the day, you know, there was also another choice other than the corporate Democrats or MAGA, and there was the Green Party. Most people probably did not pay attention to it, but if you look at their platform, it actually is in favor of the working class, is in favor of minorities, is in favor of the majority of America, to where you could see their platform is not in service of the billionaires, unlike the two major parties, the duopoly. So all that to say though, when you make choices and you make choices that hurt people, and at the same time you depend on those people, you're cutting your nose off to spite your face. And at this time, let me just ask Nebraska and everybody, because I know, I recognize everybody in America is going to be affected by farming issues. However, everybody that supports all of this bigotry, all of the mass deportations, mass incarceration, racism, racist policies, and all of that, and who are being affected now, let me just ask you to pull yourselves up by your bootstraps.
You know what it takes to run your farms. You know how many people it takes to run your farms. There is no way you got rid of all of those people and did not expect to have somebody to come in and pick up the slack. Y'all thought y'all were getting slaves back. You had to have thought that. You had to have thought black people were going to be the ones replacing the immigrants and you would not miss a beat. But when those immigrants fled and those fields became empty and those farms became deserted, then y'all want to run around crying, does anybody care about Nebraska? Does anybody care about Nebraska? No. Let's go back. What was your thought process as to when the immigrants go, when they deport them? What was your thought process on who was going to come in and pick up that slack? Because 60% of y'all went out there and voted for Trump. So what was that 60% thinking? What was your plan B for when the immigrants are gone? Who was going to come in, step in, and pick up that workload and get your bottom and keep your bottom line moving? What was that thought process? Who were the replacements for the illegal immigrants that you guys went and voted against? Who were the replacements? You guys thought it was going to be black people. Y'all thought Donald Trump was going to magically make black people appear in y'all farms and on y'all fields to get their work done. Why? I have no idea. Other than he kept saying that they were taking the black jobs. Y'all thought that just because he said that, black people were going to be running down there to them fields? It's absolutely bizarre. You can't convince me y'all put everything, your whole life, y'all whole livelihood, generations of farms being in y'all family. You can't tell me you put that up at risk and did not have a backup plan. You can't tell me y'all purposely destroyed y'all lives and y'all farms without having a backup plan to replace the illegals. It's just not making sense. But racism never has made sense. Guys, these are some really eye-opening times we're dealing with. And another thing I want to touch on before I leave today. President Musk is really working hard to get up under the black people's skin. He's trying to find a button to push to make us hit them streets. Now he wants the government to stop funding, to stop the lease for the Obama library. And he also wants the United States government to sell our National Black Museum, one of our National Black Museums. I think it was the Montgomery Boys bus. Something to do with that. I think that's what it was. So do you see what they're doing? When the threat to pardon Derek Chauvin did nothing, now they're going for other intricacies that they know black people hold near and dear, which is telling us they are going to keep nitpicking and keep nitpicking until they can think they can get us out there. No matter what they do, do not give them what they're looking for. I don't care what they do at this point, but it needs to be seen the extremes they're going to go to. That needs to be seen.
We'll look and say, but wait a minute, they're Americans who are unemployed. Why can't you just hire them?
They don't want to come out here and work in this extreme conditions, 100+ degree temperatures, dust, hard work.
What if you paid them more?
It doesn't matter. We pay some of the highest wages for farm workers in the nation right here in California, and they won't come out. In California, we grow about 50% of the fruits and vegetables and nuts for the country. And any shortage of food like that is going to impact everybody in the nation, because not only will food be less available, it'll be more expensive.
I'm going to say the meanest thing I could possibly say to these Trump voters posting self-pity videos because they're suffering due to his policies. Now, I don't do personal attacks, so I'm just going to tell you the truth, because sometimes the truth hurts. You don't get to complain. You definitely don't get to complain about the lack of leadership or ideas coming from Democrats, because we didn't do this to us. You did this to us. If you and I are driving down the interstate together and you reach over and grab the wheel and you steer us into a 200-foot deep ravine full of lava and sharks because you think big interstate is corrupt and you thought it would be funny to shake things up, when I scream at you as lava sharks eat our legs, you don't get to be mad at me for being mad at you, because it was my idea to stay on the interstate, and it was your idea that ruined everything for both of us. You don't get to ask what Democrats would do differently with the economy. You don't get to ask what Democrats are doing to help us right now. Those are 2024 questions. But we're in 2025 consequences. This era of the United States right now, this is about the president you elected, the cabinet secretaries your Senate confirmed, the cowering Republicans you elected to obey him in Congress, and all of the very real consequences resulting. We told you these things were going to happen, and we gave you lots of warnings, but you grabbed the wheel anyway. If you want to know what Democrats would do differently, look at the track record going back to the Great Depression. Economic growth, job growth, wage growth, retirement plan growth, all of these things have been better under Democratic leadership than Republican. If you like these things, you vote for Democrats, because it's what Democrats do. I don't care if you like the Democratic candidate. I don't even care if you understand how the policies work. And I'm not going to ask you if you believe me, because every chart and every graph that matters at the highest level for the middle class proves me right over the past 100 years. I'm only going to ask you that over the next year and a half, you come to grips with this fact, so you don't make the same mistake again.
Caleb Ragland is the president of the American Soybean Association, and he just wrote an op-ed for a right-wing publication, and he said in there, quote, "Like many of my fellow farmers, I voted for President Donald Trump in the past 3 elections. The president won me over with his commitment to business-friendly tax cuts, as well as his track record of reducing regulation and cutting government spending. I am one of 500,000 soybean farmers in America who feels the pain. As a businessman, President Trump must know how urgent this is." Does he? Is he? Anyway, he goes on to say, the current trade war with China is a gamble with American livelihoods, especially for farmers, those of us who grew up with soil and sweat, who can't imagine doing anything else. Mr. President, I hope you hear our plea. Please make a deal with China now. Yeah, so he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. There is no deal to be had. As of now, the majority of Trump's base is sticking with him on these tariffs. But it's gonna catch up with them. They're gonna realize sooner or later there are no deals. He is not the deal maker. He screwed up. And no, China is not begging and pleading and knocking on our door.
So I'm a black farmer, and a lot of people are wondering, why are black farmers not panicking like a lot of white farmers? Well, let me explain to you the reasons why. It's because white farmers have been handed everything to them. A lot of them. Not saying all of them, but a good bit of them. And by that I mean this. MLK even pointed out. He says, farmers in the West and the Midwest who were white, they were given land, they were given money, they were given training, they were given a lot. Whereas the black farmers weren't given anything. And the largest civil rights settlement in U.S. history is Pickford v. Glickman, where you had a class action lawsuit, bunch of black farmers all joined the lawsuit, and they won a huge settlement because the USDA was shown to be racist for decades. So because black farmers haven't been given anything, we've been learning to do without, unlike your white farmers. So when things are taken away from you, all your subsidies, all your tax breaks, guess what? You panic. Whereas we've always been going through this shit. So there's problems in privilege.
This farmer who voted for her, who voted for Trump, who still supports them, doesn't believe that they would round up immigrants because it's an open secret that farms in this state are held up by undocumented workers.
How are they going to do that? Within 2 days, we will not have food. There will not be food anywhere.
Now look at yourself looking stupid on camera. What do you mean you didn't think he would go through with it? Why would you vote for something you don't believe would happen? No, you just wished it wouldn't affect you. But it will. Oh, within 2 days you won't have any food and you didn't think of that in a voting booth? This just proves that Americans voted against and not for. And how are they going to do that? By showing up in hospitals, daycares, schools, churches. This man reminds me of the fishermen who voted for the Brexit and then started crying when they lost their market. He hates his employees deeply. He said it with his whole chest and didn't even realize it. Out there looking as fuck. Putain, faut quand même être con, quoi. Faut vraiment être con. Je comprends pas.
So for those of y'all who've been keeping up with recent events as it relates to the farmers, right? We talked about Nebraska and then we talked about Iowa, and all of these farmers, you know, are losing their minds because they're losing their farms and, you know, they're scared. Well, let me tell y'all what I heard today. So the lobbyist groups for the farmers are proposing another bailout of $16 billion. The last time syphilitic Sid did this in his first administration, they received a whopping $24 billion in bailouts. Well, this time around, syphilitic Sid said he doesn't know if he can do that. He's not sure that that's something that they can accommodate. Look, I love the farmers. The farmers are wonderful. They farm, right? They farm. But, you know, we're trying to cut fraud and waste and a lot of unnecessary spending. So now these people and their lobbyists are trying to get bailouts. But what I want to understand is, what happened to you got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps? What happened to we voted for him because he's a great businessman? What happened to we're going to put our trust in him because he's going to help us? Help y'all do what exactly? Lose your farms? Yes, that part. Because you know who invests in these companies that buy up bankrupted farms? Your vice president. So, to all you farmers that voted for this, thinking it was going to be like the last time and he was going to give y'all a bailout and y'all would get those subsidies to support yourselves and your farms and your families, it's not coming. Not this time around. It's not coming. You can just forget it. So, I wish you well. I hope it works out for you. Maybe, you know, somebody can whisper in his ear and change his mind. You know, you might want to reach out to Ivanka because like she's his favorite and he listens to her, I guess. But they're not really speaking, you know, ever since like the insurrection. But I don't know. This is just word on the street. You know, it's just gossip, but you didn't hear it from me. But, you know, good luck.
Now, fuck that. Fuck that. Joe Biden already bailed you guys out the first fucking time because Donald Trump screwed you over his first term in office. You guys seen what the fuck he did to you, and then you voted him back in again, and you think that we're supposed to have some sympathy points, or you going on CNN crying because he's fucking your shit up again? Really? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. The farmers in motherfucking Nebraska, Wisconsin, all of these states that are being affected, and they're trying to come on social media and the news stations crying now for sympathy points because they fucked themselves over by voting for this orange little bitch. Nah, it's too late for that shit now. Suck it the fuck up and struggle for the next 4 years.
Well, my friends, our farmers are in full-blown crisis, and it's not because of Mother Nature. It's because of Donald Trump's reckless tariffs that have torched decades of trade relationships and handed America's agriculture future to China and Brazil on a silver platter. 12,000 tons of pork canceled. Soybean exports collapsed, and family farms are now shutting down. And it doesn't stop there. Longshoremen, truckers, warehouse workers, entire communities are being gutted. This didn't have to happen, but Trump wanted a trade war. He wanted headlines, and now our farmers are paying the price while China laughs its way to the Brazilian soybean fields. And to make it worse, farmers who sign contracts with their own government, they're being stiffed, left holding the bag.
So guys, I hope you have watched that video and you have seen the white farmers. They are out here regretting to why they voted for Donald Trump, simply because Donald Trump, he has brought a lot of issues in America. No, it is not only affecting the white farmers. There is a lot of things which Donald Trump, he has made white people to suffer, especially for those MAGA people. The MAGA people, they believe in Donald Trump. They went ahead and vote in for Donald Trump simply because Donald Trump, he promised them that he's going to make America great again. He's going to make the life of farmers very easy. He's going to deport all illegal immigrants who are in the United States, because Donald Trump, he was saying that these illegal immigrants, they're the ones who are taking the black people jobs. They're the ones who are taking the jobs from the black Americans. But we have seen how Donald Trump, since he started deporting those illegal immigrants, we have been seeing the people who have been affected so much. It is the white farmers. Now, the white farmers, they don't have those people who are willing to work in their farms, because the people who are working to these white farmers, they have been deported, and those who are illegal immigrant. And also these white farmers, they used to pay little money, low wages to these illegal immigrant people, so that they can work in their farm, so that they can assist them in their farm. But these people, they are no more, and these people, they want to pay the same wages which they were paying the illegal immigrant to the black Americans to assist them in their farms. But the black Americans, they are not willing to do that job. The black people, they are telling the white people, you choose this government. You went ahead and vote because you thought that we black people, we are going to vote our own black people because of the color. You guys, you choose Donald Trump because of the color. You ignore the people, the black people. You ignore the people that black people advised you to choose. But right now, you are still regretting. You are out here crying because there's nobody there's no black person who is willing to assist you in the farms. And also, apart from assisting the white people in their farms, these people, they want to pay low wages. Yeah, these people, they want to pay the same amount which they were paying those illegal immigrants, that they are the same amount which they want to pay the black people, the black Americans. But the black Americans, they have refused to do that. So the farmers, they are out here crying. And for me, I can tell you that I've been telling you that America, it is going to fall down. Donald Trump is making sure that America is falling down, and America will not recover from all this mess that Donald Trump is doing in America, because apart from seeing the white farmers crying, there's nobody who is going to assist them in the farms. And also, when you go and see the trading tariff that Donald Trump he was putting to some of the countries, and we saw what happened with the America, whereby they were fighting with the Chinese because of this trading tariff. So this is to tell you that Donald Trump is also ruining the market of the white farmers, because these people, they will harvest, but these people, they will have no place to sell their products, to sell their food. So this is to tell you that everything in America, it is a mess, and people, especially those white MAGAs, they are really, really crying. But the black people, they are telling them, you need to stop crying, because you are the ones who put this regime into power. So for you, you need to keep quiet and go and just assume, because the black people, they want the white people not to choose this regime, but the white people, they ignore the teaching and when the black people, they were telling them that not to vote for this regime. So these people, they ignore. Right now we are seeing them crying, and it is not only the white farmers. We have been seeing also the white people, they have been losing jobs. Majority of them also, they cannot afford the basic necessities. Yeah, right now the Americans, some of the majority of Americans, they cannot afford basic necessities. Even the meals, they cannot even afford. Paying hospital bills also, it has really become difficult to some of the white people, and it is all because they ignore black people telling them not to vote for this regime. So for me, I can tell you that right now the white farmers, they are out here crying for Donald Trump, telling them and also you have heard from the lady, she has come out and said that the white people, they went ahead and vote for Donald Trump because Donald Trump, he was saying that the people are taking the black jobs or even the white jobs. It is because of this illegal immigrant, and this illegal immigrant, they have run away from their country because these people, they are criminal. These people, they have bad behaviors. These people, they want to bring down their country. So for them to be safe, they need to deport all these illegal immigrants. And majority of the white people, they believe in Donald Trump. They went ahead and vote him. So right now, Donald Trump, he has ruined, he has deported majority of the illegal immigrant back to their country. And the white farmers, they have started to see effects to a point whereby Donald Trump said that these people, they have taken the jobs. So these people, they are no more. Right now, the white farmers, they don't have people who will work to their farms. So these people, they are now crying for Donald Trump, telling them that you told us that these people, that the ones who are taking the black people, the black Americans' job. Why is it the black Americans, they are not willing to work in the farms? So these are some of the questions that these people, they are asking Donald Trump. And for me, I can tell you that America, it is really falling down, and it will not recover from the hands of Donald Trump. So for me, what I can tell you guys, that is let's talk more in the comment section and see thing, and let's interact more in the comment section so that we can see what to do. So kindly guys, thank you so much. Subscribe if you haven't, like this video, share, and also comment.